We're going to work on compass pose in this sequence, and I'm actually fulfilling the request of Janice over here to do this. So you're welcome, Janice. It's a big IT band and hamstring opening pose, so go slowly. Make sure that it always just, if there's any sensation, it's in the belly of the muscle, not at your connection at your sit bone or the back of your knee. All right, to start, lay down on your back and set up into child's pose right away. Or child's pose, you can't do child's pose on your back. Happy baby, how about that? Well, you could, it'd be a really funny child's pose on your back. Right, so then you can close your eyes for a few moments and just breathe in and out through your nose. And you're in a hip opener right off the bat, so notice your hips, the backs of your legs, if you have any tightness or constriction there. And then move mindfully through the sequence. So it doesn't mean that you do every pose fully. It means that you do them to your fullest capacity today. If that means a little less, fine. If it means all the way, fine. And then start, if you've rounded your low back up off of the mat at all, start to flatten your low back into the mat so your tailbone reaches straight forward towards the front edge of your mat, and it feels like the back of your pelvis is on the floor. And then just have your knees a little tiny bit wider than the edges of your rib cage, kind of to the outer shoulders, and then stack your ankles directly over top of your knees with flexed ankles. Right, now you're going to leave your right leg like this, let go of your left foot, straighten the leg out and hover it about 6 inches above the floor. And then once it's there, steer your left big toe up to the ceiling and reach through your inner foot like you're trying to stand on the wall in front of you. And then it really depends on the shape of your hip joint. It might be that your leg doesn't come all the way to the ground, but it also might go all the way down. So start to reach through the heel and maybe the back of the heel will touch. If it does, push the top of your thigh down. Good. And then collarbones are going to stay wide, lower back on the mat, well, back of your pelvis on the mat. Then the angle of your right thigh bone, leave that angle where it is. Slowly and mindfully start to straighten your right leg. Right? It might go all the way straight, it might not. Okay, so from here, Liz is going to keep a little bend in her knee. Liz, 2 bend. Yeah, now hug this back in a little more. Ah, there, good. Okay. And then from here, bring your left leg back up to happy baby and set up into the regular thing again. Okay, and then flat. Low back, the back of your pelvis, onto the mat, tailbone forward, collarbones wide. And then let go of your right leg, reach the heel forward, hover it a few inches above the ground. And press the top of the thigh down, steer the big toe up, and then go really slowly and see if you can get the right heel to hit the floor without bending your knee. It might or might not happen. And then stay with that. Stay with the angle of your left thigh bone. Go slowly and start to straighten your left leg out somewhat. And then as you straighten it out, spin the inner thigh a little bit down towards the mat. Good. All right, and then come back into happy baby again. Grab the edges of your feet. This time, if you want to round your back for a second, you can go ahead and do that. And you can rock side to side or forward to back. Just warm your hips up a slight bit more. And then hug your knees in, and you're going to take a very, very big rock up and over into a forward fold at the front of your mat with your feet mat's distance apart and parallel with one another. And then grab your elbows and hang forward here. And you bend your knees, or you can keep them straight. You did a little bit of hamstring and IT band stuff on your back, so they might be ready to be a little straighter than usual, but also may not. So then balance the weight evenly from your heels to the fronts of your feet. Roll your inner thighs towards the back edge of your mat, just enough so that you feel like you have that direction going, and then hug the outer thighs together, the outer shins together for support in your sacrum. Good. And then climb the elbows a little further down, moving your upper back into your chest. And then release your hands down to the mat. Heel toe your feet to hip distance apart. Straighten your knees. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And inhale, bring yourself all the way up to standing. And join your feet together and your hands together at your heart into Tadasana. And then inhale, reach your arms out to the side, stretch them up alongside your ears. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, all the way down. Keep your spine long into the fold. Inhale, pull your chest forward and look up. Exhale, step your left leg all the way back to a high lunge. Keep your right knee over your ankle. Drop your back knee, uncurl the toes, lean back, and straighten your right leg out. Okay, flex your right toes up to the ceiling. Push the heel down, Push the calf muscle up into the shin bone. Roll your inner thighs towards one another. And then widen your collarbones and press your upper back into your chest so you feel your sternum move forward towards your big toe. Good. And then bend your right knee, plant your hands, step into plank pose. So first plank pose, hold. Press your hands down, roll the outer arms back so your shoulders move down away from your ears, and firm your outer arms in. And then add some belly. So from the pubic bone all the way through the base of your rib cage, press your belly straight up to the ceiling. And now shift forward beyond your wrists slightly. Exhale, bend your elbows halfway into chaturanga. And then inhale, push yourself straight up into plank pose. And exhale, fold at your hips into downward facing dog. Okay, first down dog. If you want to bend and straighten your knees a little bit, pedaling back and forth, you can go ahead and do that. If you don't, just stay still. It's fine as well. Okay, and then press the floor down with your hands. Roll the outer arms down and firm them in. And send the top of your thigh bones straight back towards your sit bones. Step your right foot just 3 or 4 inches forward. Bend your left knee. Straighten your right leg all the way out and descend the heel as far down into the mat as it will go. Make sure it's right behind your second and third toe. And still firming the floor away from you with your hands and hugging the outer arms in. Good. Right, and then step back into regular downward facing dog. And look forward, bend your knees, walk or hop your feet up in between your hands. Inhale, chest wide, look forward. Exhale, fold yourself all the way back down into Uttanasana. Inhale, come up to standing with straight elbows, bring your arms alongside your ears. And then exhale, hands together at heart center, mountain pose. Good. Again, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge forward and fold. Inhale, chest forward, look forward. Exhale, send your right leg back, lower the knee, uncurl the toes, shift your weight back, and fold over your left leg. So, like you were doing on your back, steer your left big toe straight up. Roll your inner thighs just slightly towards one another, but more than that, this little effort of hugging your thighs together like they were squeezing the edges of your shoulders. And I know they're not yet, but they will be eventually. And then collarbones wide and pulling through your upper arms. Lovely, both of you. Liz, you've been out in the sun. It's quite the tan. It's very springy. Okay, and then bend your left knee, step back into plank pose. And once you're in plank again, legs straight, heels back, shift forward, exhale halfway down into chaturanga. Inhale, go straight back up into plank pose. Exhale, pull back into down dog. Right now, a few of those. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Inhale, press up into plank. Exhale, pull back into dog. 3 more times. Inhale, glides you forward, neck long. You can always drop your knees. Exhale, lower slow. Inhale, straight line back up, and exhale, pull back. Inhale, shifts forward. Watch the inner hand, keep it grounded. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push up. Exhale, pull up and back. Last time, inhale, glide forward. This time, exhale, lower and hold. Keep your collarbones wide, your belly in. Flip your toes, inhale, straighten your arms, upward facing dog, shoulder heads up and back. Sorry, just straight back, don't take them up, that would be weird. And then roll over your toes, downward facing dog. That'd be like shrugging your shoulders to your ears in down dog, or in up dog, don't do that. Now look forward, bend your knees, walk or hop your feet all the way up in between your hands. Inhale, chest through your arms, and then exhale, fold forward at your hips. Inhale, come up to standing and bring your arms alongside your ears. Exhale, join your hands together at your heart. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, chest wide. Exhale, chaturanga. You can walk or lightly hop into it. Bend your elbows midair if you're doing that. Inhale, chest wide into up dog, shoulders down. Exhale, pull up and back, downward facing dog. So you're always looking where your heels are positioned behind your second toe. Set them directly behind that, and then without changing that, there's this effort of drawing the inner thighs straight back, but hugging the legs together. And then your fingertips, just a little extra weight as you look forward. Bend your knees and walk or hop your feet lightly between your hands. Inhale, chest widens. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing and bring your arms up again. And exhale, hands together, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, look forward. Exhale, Chaturanga, keep your chest wide as you walk or hop. Good. Inhale, chest up, press your whole hand down. Exhale, keep pressing it, shift back into down dog. Just a couple breaths this time, build a little extra heat. Good. And then look forward, hips up, walk or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, chest wide. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, arms up overhead. And then exhale, join your hands together. Good. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold down. Inhale, chest wide, look forward. Exhale, through your vinyasa to down dog. And I can't leave you uneven. I just realized you haven't done your left leg on something, so we'll do it now. Step your left foot 3 inches forward. Straighten your left leg, bend your right knee a little, and send your left heel straight down. Other leg bent, Liz. Left foot. Yeah, there you go. I'm like, wait a second here. I couldn't leave you uneven like that. It would give me, my heart just would break. Right, and then step back into regular downward facing dog. Good. And then look forward, lift your heels and bend your knees, walk or hop all the way to the front of the mat. Inhale, chest widens. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing and reach your arms up again. And exhale, join your hands together. Right, bring your hands to your hips, hop your feet hip distance apart. Right, and then once your feet are hip distance apart, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Wrap your outer arms forward and keep your elbows really straight. Now drop your tailbone down just so you protect your low back. With your left hand, grab your right wrist. Pull up on your right wrist to lengthen your right side body. Lengthen the left as well. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, without collapsing, go up and over, tilting yourself to the left. Good. Keep drawing the tailbone down. Keep spinning the right tricep to the front of your mat. And then if you'd like, you can start to look underneath the right shoulder just a little bit. Good. And then inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Pause for an exhale, and then change hands. Inhale, pull up on the left wrist, roll the left tricep forward, and then exhale, lift yourself up and over, tilting to the right. Okay. Pay attention to your upper back. You're pressing that part in to widen your chest, but then the tailbone's drawing down. And then for the last couple of breaths, without cranking your neck, consider looking up underneath your left arm. Good. And then inhale, bring yourself all the way up. And exhale, release your arms and hop your feet back together and bring your hands together in prayer. Right. Inhale, bend your knees and sink your hips, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, straighten your legs out. Inhale, widen your collarbones. Exhale, through a vinyasa to down dog. And then just for heat today, Surya Namaskar B, step your right foot between your hands, spin your back heel flat. Inhale up to warrior one, take your arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands down to the mat. Take yourself back into plank and lower into chaturanga. Inhale, chest up and wide. Exhale, push up and back, and then left side. Step your left foot forward, right heel spins down. Make sure your back knee stays straight as you come up. And then exhale, bring your hands down and through a vinyasa back into downward facing dog again. We're doing these just for heat, so once you get into downward facing dog, right away, you're going to look forward, bend your knees, and walk or hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, chest widens through your arms. Exhale, fold at your hips. Inhale, bend your knees and sink into chair pose, arms up. And exhale, press down to stand, hands together at your heart. One more time, Surya B. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold, and then straighten your legs out. Inhale, chest wide. Keep your gaze there and walk or hop through a vinyasa to down dog. Good. And then once you're in down dog, right foot between your hands, back heel, spin it all the way flat and glue it. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, hands down, go slowly. Keep your chest wide as you bend your elbows. Take the vinyasa back to downward facing dog. Good. And then left side, once you're in down dog, bring it all the way through. Right heel at an angle, inhale to the top. Good. Exhale, hands down to the mat, and vinyasa again, right back into down dog. And Now from this downward facing dog, widen your feet just a little bit wider than hips distance. Walk your hands all the way back until they meet your feet. Spin your heels in a little bit and your toes out, and sit down into Malasana with your hands together at your heart. Right, so if it's difficult to sit down like this, you can put a block underneath of you, or you can roll the back edge of your mat up and put it under your heels. Otherwise, just make sure your knees and your toes are facing the same direction. Leave that there. Press your upper back into your chest till your collarbones get as broad as possible. And then if you've done that and widened your knees by pressing your arms into them, press your arms back into your knees so they stay over top of your ankles. And then from here, you're going to add a twist to this. So release your left arm down, reach your right arm up, and twist to the right, away from your inner left thigh. Keep your side body completely even. Imagine the sit bones anchoring down into the mat, and turn your chest wide open. And then today, instead of binding around the left leg, you're going to actually wrap your right tricep and reach that arm up and over alongside your ear like you would do if you were standing in mountain pose. And then consider looking up underneath your right arm. It's all going to make sense in a moment. We're getting there slowly. And then let go of that side and bring your right arm down, reach your left arm up and twist the opposite way. So you lean the back of the shoulder into the inner knee. You keep your sit bones anchored and hugging together a little like you were sitting on the floor. Turn your left side ribs away from your inner right thigh. Now turn your top palm to the front of the mat and reach that arm straight up and over alongside your left ear. And then look up and over under your left shoulder, under the left arm. Okay. Good. Make sure you're still standing firmly into the left foot. Very nice, you too. And then bring the arm back down. Straighten your legs out, forward fold, turn your toes in, bring your feet to hip distance apart. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look forward, and then exhale, walk forward into downward facing dog. Good. Right, now from this downward facing dog, inhale, shift forward into plank pose and bring your shoulders over your wrists. Okay, collarbones are going to stay wide and elbows straight. Pick your right foot up, and as you exhale, bring your right kneecap to the back of your right tricep, just so that the inner edge of the knee is touching the outer arm. Okay, you're either going to stay here like Liz is, or you're going to start to work to straighten your right leg out, sending the heel towards the front right corner of your mat, just like you were doing on your back in that half-happy baby. Good. If you've straightened the front leg, bend it, and then both of you bring your knee to your nose and round your back, press the floor down. Look forward between your hands. Step your right foot through. Spin your back heel flat. Pivot yourself a quarter turn to the left and send both sets of toes to face the side edge of your mat. Okay, once your knees are straight, bring your hands to your hips, and inhale, stand all the way up with a flat back. Okay, spin your right leg out and your back toes in. Line up heel to arch and reach your arms out to the sides. Okay, now once you're here, let your hips kind of face off center, but square your chest to the side of your mat. Hinge at your right hip. First, inhale and reach, reach, reach. Send the right hip crease as far towards the back edge of your mat as you can. Now keep the side body long and put your right arm down and reach your left arm straight up. Good. And now once you're here, draw the right hip underneath of you. Make sure the inner right foot stays grounded as you do that. Press the back thigh firm and the outer edge of the heel down. Then keep turning your torso open, just like you were just doing in that squat, like you were trying to lean the right shoulder into the inner right thigh as the left side ribs turn away from the inner right thigh. And then turn your top palm to the front of your mat and reach that arm up and over, looking underneath the arm. Same thing you've just been doing. We're mimicking where we're going a million times in different ways. Good. And then take the top arm back up. Look down, put a bend in your right knee, keep the hips swinging under you, and lift yourself up into Ardha Chandrasana. Move your fingers forward under your shoulder. And then flex the raised ankle and reach through it. Hug your right hip under your body. Pay attention to the right side of your waist. If it feels at all short, press the left side ribs down into your body by contracting the left side of your waist. And then reach your arms wide apart like you were trying to touch the ceiling with the left fingertips as you press the floor away from you with your right fingertips. Good. And then look down, put a bend in your right knee, keep the hip hugged under, step back into triangle pose, do it smoothly, or as smoothly as you can. If you fall, it's fine. And then inhale, bring yourself up to standing. and turn your toes in. Okay. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer together, just a few inches wider than your hips. A little closer, both of you. Go, go, go. More, more, more. You're good, Janice. Liz, good. Okay, inhale, lift your chest up, and then exhale, fold yourself forward. Bend your knees enough to get your torso to move through your inner thighs. Weave your right arm through your legs. Turn yourself to the left. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling and behind your back. Okay, you'll either grab the left wrist with your right hand, or if you can't reach that, Liz is going to modify. You can take a strap from the top hand and send it down into the bottom hand. Okay, now, once you have this, left leg straightens out, send the heel down into the mat, turn your chest open to the left, away from your inner right thigh, and lean the back of your right shoulder into the inner thigh or the inner edge of the knee. Keep your collarbones wide and your chest pulling forward towards your chin. Okay, there's no need to straighten the right leg all the way out, but if you have it in you, you can start to straighten the right leg out a little more like Janice's. Good. Very nice, you two. And then slowly unbind your arms, let them go down to the mat. Okay. Bring your hands to your hips, and with a flat back, inhale yourself all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out to the side, and then step or hop to the front of your mat into mountain pose, feet together and hands together. Good, sun salute A. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold forward. Inhale, look forward. And then exhale through a vinyasa to down dog. You can step right back into down dog if you don't need the chaturanga up dog. Good. Okay, side 2. Inhale, glide forward into plank pose. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Okay. Upper body stays like this, no difference. Pick your left foot up, and as you exhale, bring the left knee to the back of your left tricep. Once you're there, stay if that's enough. If you're going to go on, you're going to start to straighten your left leg out, sending the heel towards the left corner of your mat. Make sure your upper body hasn't changed shape at all. It's not worth the straight leg for that. Good. Right? And then rebend the knee if you straightened it. Pull your left knee to your nose, round your back, press the floor down, step your left foot through, spin your right heel flat, walk a quarter turn to the right, bringing your left toes with you to parallel your feet off. And then with straight knees and a flat back, bring your hands to your hips and inhale to stand. Good. Okay, now spin your left leg out and your right toes in, set up into triangle pose. Okay, reach your arms out. And then hinging at your left hip, go slowly. First, reach for the front of your mat. Send your left hip crease way, way, way back. And when it won't go any further and you're going to shorten your side body, then put the hand down and take the top arm up. Good. Okay, make sure the outer edge of the back foot stays pressing. The thigh is engaged. It's really just a plank pose or a mountain pose type leg. And then inner edge of your left foot, keep it glued down and swing your left hip under as you lean your left side ribs and back of your head towards the side of your mat. Now turn the top palm and reach that arm alongside your ear. Look underneath the tricep. Good. And then you're looking at what kind of your left side body is doing here. Make sure it feels as long as your right, and if it doesn't, bring the right ribs into your body by crunching the right side ribs towards the top of your hip point. Good. And then take the top arm up, look down, put a bend in your left knee, keep the hip under and step up into half moon, moving your hand under your shoulder. And once the right leg leaves the ground, you know it. It's got to be the same leg you just had in triangle. So reach the heel, the knee straight. And then rolling your chest open, it's the right ribs moving away from the inner left thigh. Same thing you've done in the squat. We've done it a bunch of times. And reach the arms wide, wide apart so that your chest broadens as much as your upper back. Good. And then look down, go slowly, try to be graceful, step into triangle pose. I'm not always, sometimes I fall all over the place, depends on the day. Good. And then inhale, bring yourself up, and we'll do the other side. Turn your toes parallel, heel toe your feet narrower so they're just wider than your hips. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest up, and exhale, fold yourself forward. Okay, now that you're here, bend your knees enough to get your chest through your inner thighs. And then this time, reach your left arm through, right arm goes behind your back. Either grab the wrist or dangle the strap from the top hand to the bottom hand. And then once you have that, the right leg goes straight this time. Send the heel down. Lengthen your spine, upper back into your chest. Turn your right side ribs away from your inner left thigh, looking right ribs over top of left, and then hug the back of your shoulder and your inner thigh together. And then if you have it in your hamstrings, and it should, if there's any sensation, it's in the big belly part of the muscle, start to straighten your left leg as well. Good. All right, you two. Unwind that. Bring your hands to your hips, have a flat back and straight knees, and inhale, bring yourself all the way up to standing. Outstretch your arms and step or hop back to the front of your mat. Sun salute through to down dog. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, vinyasa through to downward facing dog. Okay, last little bit of standing pose stuff before we go to our peak. Bring your right foot all the way between your hands and spin your back heel flat. Inhale, come up into warrior one. Reach your arms up alongside your ears. And then exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back. Heel toe your right foot to the right 2 inches. Right. Inhale, lift your chest up and widen. And then exhale, fold yourself up and over. Once you start to fold, if you have low back issues, you're going to rest your right shoulder on your right knee. If you don't, bring your right shoulder to the inner edge of the knee. Look at your hips, square them off first, make sure the back leg is straight, the outer edge of the foot stays down, and then you can look at your left side ribs. If they're lifting to the ceiling, square them off as well. And then hug the knee and the shoulder together. Reach your arms away from you. Good. And then release your arms down. Bring both hands to the inside edge of your foot. Come up on your back toes. Move your back foot back just a little bit. Right, then drop down to your elbows. If it's too much to do it on your elbows with your back leg up, you can drop your back knee down to the mat as well. So have your left toes and knee facing straight ahead. Collarbones wide and pulling through. And then again, if it's difficult to get the knee and the shoulder together, stay here. If not, like Janice is going to do, you're going to wiggle your right shoulder underneath your inner thigh and bring the hand to the outer edge of the foot, the forearm to the outer edge of the foot. And squeeze those two things together. As you pull your chest through, think about your sit bones anchoring towards the back edge of your mat. Good. And then if you have your arm looped under, unweave it. Come back up onto your hands. And spin your back heel flat. Move your back foot forward a good 1.5 feet. Straighten your front leg out. Okay, line up heel to heel. Be a little shorter, Liz. Good. And then inhale, pull your chest forward, square it to the floor and widen your collarbones. And then exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. And walk your fingertips out in front of you. Take them as far out as you can. You can even make tent fingers, so be on your fingertips if you like. And then drag your hips back towards the back edge of your mat, hugging your inner thighs together. A couple breaths here. And we're going to turn this into a little modification for an extra IT band stretch. Okay, so you're going to keep your hips square like they are and your spine long. Feet are going to stay the same as well. Just slowly, you're going to start to walk both sets of your fingers over to the right edge of your mat. Good. As you go, the left hip kind of wants to swing out to the side and unsquare. Keep it moving forward, the right hip pulling back. All right. Take a couple of breaths. And then bring your hands back to the center. Step back into plank and take a vinyasa through to down dog. Good. Okay, last set of standing poses, second side. Step your left foot forward, spin your right heel flat. Inhale to the top of warrior one. Exhale, interlace your fingers the other way behind your back. Move your left foot to the left 2 inches. Inhale, lift your chest up, keep your back legs straight, and then exhale, fold up and over. And again, either shoulder to knee if you have low back, things that prevent you from folding this far, or put the shoulder to the inner knee. Look at your back leg, make sure it's straight and the outer edge of the foot is down. Then look at your hips and square them to the floor. Then look at your chest. Right side ribs might be up a little high. Roll them down and reach your arms straight up and over, hugging your inner left knee to your outer left shoulder. Steady breath. Bring your hands down to the inside edge of your foot. Okay, come up on your back toes. Move the right foot back a decent amount. Okay, keep your left knee over your ankle and come down to your forearms. If you're dropping the back knee, fine. If you're keeping it up, that's fine as well. You just want your left toes and the left knee to face straight ahead so the thigh is parallel to the side of the mat. You're hugging the inner knee to the outer shoulder. So hug your left knee in a little more, Liz. You can move your foot to the side to do it. There you go. And then if you're going to loop under, start to bring your left shoulder under the inner knee. Hand can go to the outside edge. Make sure your chest stays wide. And you're almost thinking about the back of your left shoulder leaning up and back into the inner left thigh. And then sit bones reaching away from you like they were anchored into the floor. And then if you're under, bring the hand back out, come up onto your hands, put your back heel down on the mat, and then move it forward a good amount. Feet just 3 feet apart is plenty. Right? Then inhale, pull your chest forward, heel to heel and hips square. Exhale, hinge at your hips, keeping your spine long, and walk your fingertips way out in front of you again. You can make tent fingers. And if you drag your fingers on the mat a little, you'll feel the sides of your body lengthen out and the hips move away from your hands. And make sure you keep the energy pressing into the ball of your left foot as the hips move away from you. Inner thighs hug together. And now keep your hips square like this and start to walk your both sets of your fingers to the left side of your mat. You're going to attempt to keep the sides of your waist long as you go. Good. And a couple more breaths, and then it's time for us to do compass pose. Janice, are you so excited? She can't wait. Right, it's like going to Chuck E. Cheese when you're 6. Right, come back to the center, step back into plank pose, and vinyasa through to down dog. All right, here we go. Look forward and hop all the way through to seated. So sit in Dandasana with your legs extended out in front of you, hands next to your hips to start with. Okay, so we're going to do this a couple of times. We're going to start with Marichyasana A. Right, so ankles flexed, heels on the floor. Bend your right knee and bring your right heel in line with your right sit bone. So it'll be about a fist distance away from your inner left thigh. So you move the right foot to the right a little. Now keep the knee facing the ceiling. You're going to start to fold forward, pulling your chest forward, keeping your right inner knee touching the outer shoulder. And then you can either reach and grab the foot like Liz is going to with both hands, or if you know how to bind, you're going to start to bind your right arm around your right shin, reach behind your back with your left arm, and grab your left wrist with your right hand. And then both of you, inhale, pull your chest forward, and exhale, fold forward. Right, so the right sit bone can lift up off of the mat a little to lean yourself forward. Make sure that your left ankle stays flexed and the toes are facing up like you're standing on that foot. Hug the inner right knee towards the outer right shoulder. So you're standing in the inner foot. Come on, sister. Good. And then inhale, pull your chest forward for some length. And exhale, sit yourself all the way up. Right, cross your right knee all the way over your left like a half Gomukhasana leg. And then from here, inhale, sit up tall again. And exhale, fold. So Liz, bring your inner thighs to touch and bring the foot to the outer hip. Like let this go down, like a half one. There you go. And then fold. Very nice. Okay, so it won't be a stretch in the right hip necessarily at all. It'll be more of an opening in the left thigh. That's what we're looking for. All right, and then inhale, sit yourself all the way up and uncross your legs. Okay, second side, Marichyasana A. So bend your left knee, put the foot in line with your sit bone, and you can move it hip distance away from your inner right thigh. Okay, and then fold forward, take the outer left shoulder to the inner left knee. You're either going to grab the foot with both hands, you can wrap a strap around the foot, or bind around it. Left arm goes around the shin, right arm behind your back, and you grab your right wrist with your left shin. Left hand. Inhale, pull your chest forward, and then exhale, fold at your hips again. Okay, so stand strong into the inner left foot so the knee moves in towards your outer shoulder. Keep your right toes facing up and your chest square to the floor. And then think length instead of putting your forehead on your knee, Janice. Good. And then Inhale, sit yourself all the way up. Let go of the arms. Bring your left knee across your right knee. Left foot comes to the outer right hip, and thighs stack on top of each other. And then fold forward, and you can grab the foot, or again, strap can always go around your foot. There's a big opening in the outer edge of your right thigh, especially if your hamstrings are not your best friend, but you're going to need it in a second. So use your breath in and out smoothly. Pay attention to how much feels appropriate today. It might not be the same as any other day. You want to make sure that you're doing just enough, that it's work without injury. And then inhale, sit yourself all the way up and uncross your legs. All right, here we go. A couple things. So from here, bend your right knee and set your foot up like you just did in Marichasana A. And then interlace your fingers. And then you're going to take your fingers to the sole of your right foot. Bring your right shin parallel with the floor. Good. Now bring your right knee to your outer right shoulder and hug those two things together. Okay. Now wiggle your right shoulder underneath your inner right thigh. Okay. And once you get the shoulder kind of under, you can round your back a little. And now you're going to squeeze your thigh into your outer shoulder. Put your right hand down just a little bit to the outer hip. We're going to do pick up first. So bend the elbow. Good. Then put your left hand down, shoulder distance apart from your right. Reach through both toes and inhale. Pick yourself up. Pull the belly in. Good. Keep hugging the inner thigh to the shoulder. Really good, you two. Right, and then set yourself all the way back down. Once you're down, flex your left ankle again. Your right thigh will have fallen down, so re-wiggle it under. Now this is plenty. You can absolutely stay here. If you're going on to compass pose, you're going to go slowly. The knee might stay very bent. Reach your right arm out to the side, and I like to tent my fingers with a straight elbow. It just feels better to me. And then with your left arm, you're going to reach up and over and grab the pinky edge of your right foot. Now, once you have that, start by just turning your chest away from your inner right thigh like you did in all the other poses, and then start to straighten your right leg any amount, reaching through the very center of your heel. Good. Make sure the left toes have stayed straight up, collarbones are wide, and the sides of your waist feel even. Good. And then go slowly and come all the way back out. Bend the knee, let go of the foot, and extend your right leg forward. Look at that smile. Yay! All right, second side. So set up your left foot into what would be Marichasana A, and then your hamstrings are different from side to side. So one side's going to feel much more open than the other. Be very mindful of just doing what's appropriate for each leg. Right? Interlace your fingers, pick the foot up. Good. Knee bent. Liz. Right, now take the knee to the outer shoulder. Good. Hug that together. This is a great place to stop too. It's plenty. Okay, then once you're here, now start to wiggle it. Left shoulder is going to come underneath the inner left knee. And you can't kind of get it under any further. Plant the hand down just right underneath your shoulder with the bent elbow. Right hand goes down, shoulder distance apart from your left. Squeeze the inner thigh and the shoulder together. Reach through your toes. And then inhale, pick yourself up and keep breathing. Woohoo! Good. And belly draws in, hands pressing evenly. And then set yourself all the way down and flex your right ankle again. And then re-wiggle your left shoulder underneath. Okay, so you're trying to get the back of the shoulder on the back of the thigh. And now once you have that, straighten your left arm out to the side, tense your fingertips, and you're using your left arm to pin the thigh bone back. Okay, and then reach up and over, grab the outer edge of your left foot with your right hand. So go up and over with the hand, Janice. There you go. Good. Now keep the right tricep rolling. Turn your chest open. Lean back into the inner thigh. And then start to straighten your left leg out, reaching through the center of your heel. Good. Very, very nice. And then go slowly. Turn your chest back to square. Let go of the leg and stretch it out in front of you. And then cross your ankles, pull yourself into a tiny ball, plant your hands next to your hips, and either pick yourself up and jump back or take yourself through a vinyasa to down dog. So essentially that was like putting your leg behind your head, one side at a time. So we're going to do some pretty mellow back bends to let that go. So inhale, come forward to plank pose from here. And be very proud of wherever you got to today. Exhale, lower yourself halfway into chaturanga. Take an inhale, and then exhale, lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Uncurl your toes with your feet hip distance apart and come up onto your forearms for Sphinx pose. So elbows and wrists in line with your shoulders and parallel with one another. Reach your toes away from you, press them into the mat, and get your knees straight. Keep your hip points pressing down into the floor. And then your arms aren't going to go anywhere. You're just going to use the effort of your arms dragging back towards your waist to widen your collarbones. And just a few breaths here. Some mild back bend in the upper back. And keep sending your tailbone towards your heels so it's not in your lower back at all. And then lower yourself all the way down and bring your arms alongside your body. So tops of the hands on the mat, palms to the ceiling, and legs together now. Okay, tops of the hands are going to stay down. On your inhale, lift your legs, your shoulders, and your head up all off of the mat. Okay, keep pressing the tops of your hands down to lift the shoulder heads up onto your back, widening your chest. Reach through the center of your feet, especially the mound of your big toes, and the inner thighs lead the way to the ceiling. Okay, work your upper back more to widen your chest further and lift it up. Now, keep everything like this. You're just going to bend your elbows and put your hands underneath them like they would be in Cobra pose, the low version. Now that you have your hands there, you can use them to lift and widen your chest a little bit more. Keep lifting the legs as well. Good. And then you're all set up. All you're going to do is drop the legs and straighten your arms. Inhale into up dog. Take 2 breaths. Good. And then exhale. Roll up and over your toes. Downward facing dog. Now, look forward. It wouldn't be the same without doing the one last pose that's almost identical. So look forward, hop all the way through to seated. Okay, and then turn yourself to the side and set up into Upavishta Konasana legs. So just wider than hip distance. I tried to decide how wide this was yesterday, and I decided it's like 130 degrees. I don't know why. All right, so toes facing the ceiling. And if this is a lot, just to sit up tall here, put your fingertips behind you and just sit. That's perfect. Otherwise, from here, leaving your toes facing the ceiling, you're going to fold forward just halfway. Keep your sit bones anchored, spine long. Okay, now keep your left sit bone anchored. You're going to start to walk your torso towards your right foot. Bring the right hand, turn the right palm up to the ceiling, and then either leave it there or you can grab the inner right arch. Okay, now hold your left sit bone down. Same thing we've been working. Pull your right side ribs forward. Turn your chest away from your inner right thigh. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling. Wrap the tricep and reach that top arm alongside your top ear. Okay, now, if you can keep reaching and grab the outer edge of your right foot with your left hand, you can hold on to it and use it as leverage to twist open a little further. These are great. Good. Okay, if you don't grab the foot easily, just keep the arm alongside the ear. That's plenty. Good. And then go slowly. Turn yourself back to square, walk back to the center, and lengthen both sides of your torso. And then once you're lengthened, keep your right sit bone down. It really likes to lift. Start to walk yourself to the left leg. Turn your left palm up to the ceiling and either set the forearm down or grab the inner edge of the left arch. Right, then turn your right side ribs away from your inner left thigh. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Roll the tricep. Reach it alongside your ear. And then maybe take it up and over, grabbing the foot. Okay, if you've got the foot, press the top of your right thigh bone down. Both toes facing the ceiling. Turn the right side ribs, stacking them over your left, but propelling the sides of your waist towards your left foot. Good. We've done it in every imaginable variation. All right, now walk back to center just to make yourself even from left to right. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Spin both legs to face the front of the mat now. We'll do big wide open Baddha Konasana. So bring your feet back towards you just a third of the way, knees apart. And then you can fold forward with a rounded back. You're free to hold your feet. You can walk your arms out in front of you, whatever feels kind of good at this point. You can let your neck relax. And it doesn't matter if you round your spine here. So at the end of practice, letting go a lot more than you're engaging. So start with your eyes being closed, your breath being a little softer. And then try to hold still. It's really, really easy to fidget. That's what we do. It's avoidance. Bless you. If you have to sneeze, that's not fidgeting. That's an excuse. But otherwise, hold still. You're avoiding kind of paying attention to what is opening in your hip if you move around. And slowly inhale, sit yourself up, and lie down on your back. Once you're down on your back, bend your knees like you would for bridge pose. Cross your right thigh all the way over your left, and then hug that into your chest. This might be plenty of a hip stretch for you. If it is, just stay with this. Now you flex your ankles, and then grab the outer edges of your feet with your hands. Keep your thighs stacked on top of one another. Spin your feet to the sides and pull them towards your shoulders. So if your knees come apart or this feels like anything in your knees, please just keep holding your thighs and don't worry about grabbing the feet. It's really not worth it. And then eyes closed again. And just let your breath move in and out steadily, smoothly. And then undo that and put your feet on the floor. Cross your left knee over your right. Hug it in. Flex your feet if you're doing that. Spin them to the sides and pull them down to your shoulders. And then the next pose is going to be Shavasana. So start to get still and let go of some of your breath control. Just have your breath still be smooth and even, especially if this is a big hip opener. Make sure that you're moving the breath. It doesn't have to be heating or aggressive, just soft and in and out. And then undo that and hug both of your knees into your chest. Give them a tight squeeze. And then reach your legs out in front of you and set up into Shavasana. And separate your legs wider than your hips and your arms wider than your shoulders with your palms up. Your eyes closed. You don't have to do any more breath control here. And pay attention to the shifts that happen in your body. So you do this practice for a reason. It's a bunch of different reasons, but one of them is there's this change that happens within your body and sometimes your mind where you're able to hold a little bit more still than when you go out to your mat. So enjoy that if that's happened today. And then you always give yourself rest and balance all the hard work with a good amount of quiet and rest. So lie here.